Man, some things are unexpected, like Travis Perry entering the transfer portal. Let's talk more about that. But first, subscribe to the channel and keep getting more news from the Cats. The news of Travis Perry entering the transfer portal dropped like a bombshell in the Kentucky basketball community, a move as unexpected as it was a play in a tight game. The young freshman point guard decision to leave Lexington after just one season is a reminder that college basketball is constantly changing, shaped by individual choices and collective dynamics that go far beyond the court. Perry arrived at Kentucky as one of the state's most celebrated prodigies, carrying with him the aura of a player who had already earned his place in local high school basketball history. Being Kentucky's all-time leading scorer is a monumental feat that few athletes can achieve and has led to huge expectations for his time with the Wildcats. However, his first season has been marked by ups and downs, with moments when he had to quickly adapt to a larger role than expected, thanks to injuries that have plagued Mark Pope's squad. This circumstance has put Perry under the spotlight before he has had a chance to truly mature within the team's tactical system, forcing him to face challenges that many veterans would have difficulty overcoming. In 31 games, 4 of which he has started, Perry has averaged modest amounts, 2.7 points per game, shooting 31.3% from the field, 32.1% on three-pointers, as well as modest contributions in rebounds, assists, and steals. While these numbers may not have caught the eye of analysts, they reflect the limitations imposed by a difficult environment. It was no secret that Perry was in a learning curve, but his resilience and willingness to accept the challenge of leading a team through tough times were notable. Many believe that this experience would be the prelude to a more consistent second season, especially with the expectation that he would benefit from a redshirt or a reduced burden of responsibilities. The surprise, then, is not just that Perry decided to leave, but rather the timing and circumstances. After the season-ending loss to Tennessee, he had publicly indicated that he planned to return for his sophomore season, fueling the confidence of fans and pundits that the future held a more significant role for the young point guard. However, the reality of college basketball today is unforgiving. With Kentucky seeking reinforcements in the transfer portal to strengthen its depth and competitiveness, it was clear that the cap space available to Perry would be reduced. Perhaps it was this realization that led him to seek new horizons, where he could find more minutes on the court and an opportunity to show his true potential. Some say there is a silver lining to this decision. For Perry, this could be the first step towards a new phase in his career, where he can flourish in an environment more suited to his characteristics and needs. Mid-sized universities, hungry for talent capable of leading their projects, will certainly be looking for a player with the pedigree and technical ability that he has demonstrated throughout his career. In addition, his departure also paves the way for Kentucky to continue adjusting its roster for the 2025-26 season, ensuring that Mark Pope has at his disposal a balanced group prepared to compete at a high level. Perry was an emblematic figure for the state, someone who represented the connection between Kentucky's basketball tradition and the promising future of the program. Losing a talent like him certainly leaves a void, but can also be seen as a wake-up call for the athletic department to invest even more in strategies that keep native players engaged and motivated to continue wearing the blue and white. Basketball is a sport of choices, and each player must make decisions that reflect their dreams and aspirations. For Travis Perry, entering the transfer portal marks the beginning of a new journey, filled with uncertainty but also exciting possibilities. May he find the right environment to thrive and realize his full potential. Let's move forward. Tyron Stokes, one of the most coveted recruits in the 2026 class, has scheduled an official visit to the Kentucky Wildcats, bringing with it a wave of optimism and speculation. Ranked number 1 overall in his class by several recruiting platforms, including on 3 247 Sports and ESPN. Stokes is seen as a player with the potential to make an immediate impact on college basketball, even if his stay may be brief. However, the question that remains is whether his arrival at Kentucky would really be a big deal for the program, or if we're looking at a risky gamble that may not yield the expected results. Stokes combines size, strength, and technical ability in a package that seems tailor-made for modern basketball. His versatility allows him to play both in the paint and at the three-point line, characteristics that align perfectly with the style of play that Mark Pope has tried to implement since taking over the Wildcats. Additionally, his Kentucky roots, having been born in Louisville and lived there until he was 9, add an emotional narrative to the potential connection between the player and the program. Those local ties could be a key differentiator in the competition against giants like Kansas, Alabama, and UCLA, who are also in the running to sign him. Signing a talent like Stokes is no guarantee of instant success. Recent college basketball history is replete with examples of highly rated players who failed to live up to expectations at their respective programs. The pressure on young phenoms like Stokes is enormous, especially in an environment as competitive as Kentucky, where the demand for wins and performance is relentless. Even with all his raw talent, it will take meticulous technical and mental development to become the dominant player everyone expects. This is where Mark Pope's crucial role comes in. Known for his ability to connect with players and get the most out of their talents, Pope has the chance to turn Stokes into a successful project. The coach has already demonstrated his ability to adjust his systems to suit the individual characteristics of his players, something that could help if he does end up making the team. On the other hand, there are reasonable doubts about how quickly Stokes will be able to fit into the roster. Despite his impressive physique and natural ability, he is still a maturing player. The transition from high school to college basketball is always challenging, and Stokes will have to face more experienced and physically prepared opponents. Additionally, Kentucky's roster dynamics for the 2025-26 season are still in flux, with movement in the transfer portal and the unexpected departure of players like Travis Perry. This raises questions about how Stokes will fit into the group if he decides to commit to the Wildcats. Another consideration is the one-and-done factor. With the growing trend of elite players only playing one season in college before heading to the NBA, there is a risk that Stokes will follow suit. While this would be positive for the program's prestige, it could limit the long-term impact of his contribution. For Kentucky, this means that the investment in Stokes needs to be paid off with immediate results, whether in terms of significant wins or national exposure. All of this puts Tyron Stokes in a fascinating position in the conversation about Kentucky's future. He represents both an opportunity and a challenge. The chance to bring a transformative talent to Lexington, but also the responsibility to mold that talent effectively. If Mark Pope can pull this off masterfully, Kentucky could be on the cusp of one of the most exciting chapters in its recent history. However, if plans don't pan out as expected, Stokes' arrival could end up being remembered as an ambitious gamble that didn't deliver the desired results. It's a time of uncertainty, but other recruits Pope has brought in for another season are being highly regarded. Let's wait and see. Let us know what you think.